Monday, the Atlanta Hawks fired head coach Lloyd Pierce less than halfway through his third season as the team's head coach. Pierce's firing followed a 14-20 start in a year in which the Hawks made significant offseason additions and went into essentially a playoff or bust mode under the mandates from owner Tony Ressler. And the timing of this firing is curious because it comes just 2 days before the All-Star break. And let's just say that NBA Twitter was quick to voice both their surprise and displeasure with the move. Pierce was defended by veteran coaches like Rick Carlisle, former teammates like Steve Nash, and an NBA legend himself and Spurs coach Greg Popovich, all essentially expressing the belief that the firing was unfortunate at best, short-sighted at worst, and that the Hawks were losing a good man and a promising young coach. It's impossible to deny the ridiculous number of injuries the Hawks have endured this year. Chris Dunn is yet to play this season, and the remaining Big Three acquisitions, Rajon Rondo, Danilo Gallinari, and Bogdan Bogdanovic, were in the lineup together for the first time all season when the Hawks faced the Miami Heat Tuesday night. This goes on to explain at least part of the Hawks' fourth quarter woes that is one of the big reasons Pierce was relieved of his duties. The team has blown 10 fourth quarter leads in their 20 losses, ranking near the bottom of the league in defensive rating and net rating. Their crunch time numbers are poor across the board, and they've gone just 6-13 in games within 5 points during the last 5 minutes. Now, while some of that can be blamed on the available talent, there are several patterns that can also be traced to coaching. There may be no better example than the Hawks' embarrassing collapse at the end of the Cleveland game last week. Pierce burned one of the Hawks' last timeouts on a terrible coach's challenge. The Hawks committed multiple silly fouls with Cleveland already over the limit, and the offense was unable to generate good looks with the game in hand in the last minute. And this comes on the heels of criticisms about Pierce sitting Trae Young too long at the start of fourth quarters, leaving Clint Capella out of his defensively porous closing lineups, and making poor use of timeouts and coach challenges in the fourth quarter. And truthfully, all these are valid criticisms. Now, having said that, it's hard to ignore the fact that the Hawks are closing this game with Solomon Hill and Tony Snell on the floor. Not Bogdanovic, not Reddish, not Hunter, not Rondo. Snell and Hill. And regardless of the X's and O's, that clearly wasn't the plan for the Hawks when the season started. It's honestly difficult to evaluate Coach Pierce as a head coach at this point in his career. He was given two absolutely dreadful rosters his first 2 years in Atlanta and coached most of this season with half a roster and the expectations of making the playoffs. Pierce deserves his share of criticism for the Hawks' woes, but his firing reeks of panic and impatience as he was dismissed without ever really getting the opportunity to coach a full and competent NBA roster. Pierce may not have set the world on fire with his 63-120 record during his time in Atlanta, but he probably deserved better than this. As for the Hawks, is Travis Schlenk next? And why fire Lloyd Pierce just days before the All-Star break and hours after leading the team through practice? Are the rumblings about him butting heads with Trae Young and John Collins true? Click the link to the podcast in the description to hear a more detailed breakdown of the firing and what it means for the Hawks moving forward. This is Dave Bethea with Title Run Sports. That's it for today. Thank you for listening.